I'm Dave Cawley, investigative journalist and host of the podcast Cold. Don't miss Cold's new Season 3, where I look into the unsolved disappearance of Cherie Warren, a woman last seen leaving her job at a Salt Lake City office in 1985. Police cast suspicion on Cherie's estranged husband and boyfriend, but never made any arrests or recovered Cherie's remains. Find Cold Season 3, The Search for Cherie, anywhere you get your podcasts.
Welcome to Project Recovery, a podcast about addiction, but more importantly, it's about recovery. My name is Casey Scott, and if you know somebody who needs some help, have them do what I did. Did I say that right, Dr. Matt?
It was perfect.
Call Pinnacle Recovery Center. They got me on my road to recovery, and they can help you as well. Dr. Matt, it's crazy times we live in.
Oh, it is very crazy.
We thought we'd come in and do a bonus episode.
Yeah, this place is like a ghost town.
Yeah, I mean,
literally.
You said it the best when you were walking in,
right?
Which is KSL Triad Center's usually hustling and bustling. People
I walked
walking
from the
everywhere.
Parking garage past where they used to do the ice skating rink, and you got the jazz arena over there. Yeah, and it's normally. You're running into people, seeing people, saying hi. Not a person out there. I didn't see a person out there. And then out of the corner of my eye, way up on the stadium steps, I see some guy dragging a 6-foot-tall cardboard box.
He was moving.
I guess. And I'm thinking, this is like Walking Dead. It was, the place is cleared out.
And we're going to get to that in just a second. We're going to talk in the second part of this episode how to talk to your kids about the coronavirus and the earthquake that we had.
Yeah, it's unsettling, so we need to know how to talk about it.
I might get some food storage.
Finally?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, good luck with that.
Yeah, it's probably a little too late.
Utah's the number one hoarding state of all the states. Unfortunately, I thought we all had food storage, but apparently not.
No, and I thought toilet papering would be so insensitive right now.
Yeah, but it'd be funny.
I think it would.
and
Look
appreciated.
The Scots. They're so rich, they're out there toilet papering.
And appreciated by the people that get toilet paper.
Right?
They just roll it back up.
Kids, get out there and clean it up.
It's like a service project.
I like that. Hey, so we had some news in the realm of news.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to say this, but I had a lot of people reach out to me going, I think you need to call Shauna Lake.
Yeah, I think that if there wasn't such an outpouring of interest, and I believe people wanting to be supportive of her and asking you to be supportive of her, that we probably wouldn't have mentioned it, but it's definitely out there. It's on Facebook, and we're concerned about Shauna and how she's doing. Do you want to mention what happened?
Well, I just know what the newspapers have reported.
Right.
That she'd been cited with a DUI out at the Salt Lake International Airport. And this would be her second DUI.
Correct.
Within 2 years.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are saying, hey, she needs your help. Well, to be honest with you, I reached out to her. I sent her a text. Sean is a good friend of mine and has always been a close friend of mine and really wonderful to work with when I worked at Channel 2.
Oh, she's very professional, very, very excellent at what she does. Yeah.
And I'm not here to condemn her. I'm not here to defend her because I don't know the whole story.
Right. She hasn't responded.
She hasn't responded. And I don't think she's responded to anybody in the media because, once again, you're waiting for everything to come out. I think it's premature for people to vilify her and just go after her until you know the whole side of the story. That's, once again, I'm not condemning what she's done. I'm not defending what she's done.
Because we don't really know.
I don't really know.
And you know from your own experience that people jump to conclusions.
And some people just go at you with the internet trolling, coming at you and not knowing the whole story.
And I think nowadays there's a lot of stress and anxiety with the virus and yesterday's earthquake and things that people have a lot of pent up stress and maybe even some aggression. And unfortunately, the internet is a way to let it out, and so people can be extra aggressive verbally, and the things they say are just really unfair. And
you're pent up in your house. You're quarantined to your home. And the only access you have to the outside world is the internet.
Right.
And so regardless what's going on with you in your head, in your world, sometimes you get on there and you start typing and you don't realize that there's someone on the other side of that.
Right. Yeah, it's a disconnect. a similar experience, but on a much greater level to road rage. You know, we're in our cars, we're driving down the freeway. Technically, we're interacting with each other, but we're isolated in our vehicles. Mm-hmm. And so people say and do things, make particularly crude gestures and whatnot that they wouldn't normally do if they were face-to-face with somebody walking down the sidewalk. And so that disconnect makes people kind of forget that they're still making an impact on others. And so the internet is even more than that, in the sense that people are not face-to-face. They don't see anybody. Like you said, they're in their home, they're on their phone, wherever. And a lot of our deepest, nastiest stuff can come out. And if you have caught yourself doing that, I would suggest looking at the fact that you're probably in a lot of denial and repression about things in your life. And if you could figure out what those things were and address those directly, you wouldn't have so much venom to pour out onto other people.
I'm not good with biblical sayings, and I'm not even sure if this one is, but something like, don't throw stones if you live in a glass house.
I think that was Billy Joel, right?
Was it?
I don't know. It was
the Piano Man?
It was the cover of that album.
Was that what it was?
He's standing there with the rock, and he's in a glass house.
Yeah, basically saying, hey, don't be throwing rocks at other people
the Bible, but
if you don't know what's in your own backyard, right?
Right. We need to look at ourselves first, and we ought to be doing things every day that improve our quality of life. And being angry at other people decreases your quality of life. It's cathartic momentarily, but if there's no solution involved in your expression of anger and emotion, then it makes things worse. So finding out what you're really upset about first, and then addressing that directly, that's a solution-oriented life, and it's a higher quality.
You know, my life would have to get better just to suck right now. I'm going through a ton of stuff right now.
Right.
But I'm still seeing the positive in the world. Right now, I'm getting time with my kids that I normally wouldn't get with my kids because they're being homeschooled.
That's a great way to look at it, yeah.
Believe it or not, I actually got them out and we did yard work a couple days this week.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to use this time to benefit the family rather than sit in the corner of the room and just scream. Because sometimes that's what I want to do. I just want to go, come on, man. They say God can only give you what you can handle. Well, God thinks I'm tough.
Yeah, he does. You are tough, man.
You know, but I'm like, hey, we don't need to put another 5 pounds on there, God. I think I got this. I think I'm maxed out, man.
Yeah, you need to level off for a minute, right?
Yeah. But what I do want to say to Shauna Lake is that I've been there. I know what you're going through.
Yeah.
I sympathize. I have empathy for you. And I'm here. And I don't even care if you come on the podcast. If you just need someone to talk to, you've got my number. And
I think it might be helpful. It's always helpful when we talk to somebody who's empathetic and kind and understanding, but even more so perhaps when they really can relate to our situation. And in this case, not only did you get a DUI and have the professional problems as a result that you've had.
Still
having, yeah. But you and Shauna are in the same industry. And that actually brings up a question. What is it? Is there anything, do you think it's the industry creates a particular type of stress?
I got a lot of that on Facebook and through instant message and email going, it's got to be something about the industry. And I really don't think that it's so much about the industry. I think there's a little part about it. But once again, I think if you would be surprised of how many emails and texts I get from first responders who are going through substance abuse.
Sure.
Construction workers are going through substance abuse. I don't think it's particular to one field. I think it's high stress fields, but I don't think it's so much just the news industry here in Utah.
Yeah. I like to look at numbers to see if there's research on that, and I haven't looked in to see if they're, by industry substance abuse problems. There's certainly, I'm sure, are statistics on that. I think that we have talked a little bit about that people in the media industry, especially on-air personalities, are folks that are portraying a particular persona.
Yeah.
And that needs to be generally upbeat and positive and informed, and as an individual, we don't always feel that way.
Yeah, I mean, you can go to work and you can be feeling bad and you can still do your job. But when we're required to be on TV providing facts and relaying information,
right.
You can't really do that with a grumpy attitude. You can't do that with a bad attitude. So you always kind of, as we often say in this podcast, put a mask on that for this next hour and a half, everything's going to be all right. Even if it's not, I'm going to show you that everything's going to be all right. Because, we say the earthquake that just happened.
Right.
Those guys are required to do their job and present information to you because that's what you're turning in for, not knowing what's going on with their family at home, not what's knowing with the loved ones. They can't stop and make that call and go, is everybody okay? They're on 24/7. They're on there to give you the information.
And in moments of crisis, you're setting a tone. And so if the person on the television screen or on the radio is sounding shaken and worried and upset, then that can have a negative ripple effect for the population. So it's learning how to, in a way, do the opposite of what's good psychology, and that is stuff your own feelings down and pretend to be somebody that you're not perhaps at that moment. And people don't realize that year after year of this, combined with things like some crazy hours. I remember, I
got up at 4 o'clock every morning for 20 years.
Yeah, it's just, and then, some people are like, well, he probably went to bed early. No, he didn't. I mean, he had a family and kids, and you're doing all that stuff.
I would take naps. I slept in split shifts.
Yeah, I remember when I first did the radio on your old show, and that's the first time I'd ever heard a 24-hour sleep cycle. And I'm like, well, what is that? And it's like, well, I get 8 hours of sleep, just not all at once. Within 24 hours, I get 8 hours of sleep. I get 2 here and 4 there. And I'm like, whoa, that's not healthy, right?
No, it's not. But what you were just talking about reminded me of being a parent. And so say me and my son Bowden were out playing, and he falls down and hurts himself. Mm-hmm. You know what he does first? He looks to me to see what the look on my face is. Right. And if my face is terror, then he's got terror. Right. If he looks to me and I go, oh, it's okay, bud, just get up, walk it off, then chances are he's going to get up and walk it off. But if he looks to me and there is pain and terror in my face, automatic waterworks. That kid's just crying because he thinks that he's looking to me for direction.
Yeah, stress and anxiety is very contagious. And we're certainly seeing that this last week or two here everywhere, really, but especially with our earthquake yesterday. And it's not, I think personally, most people connect more with the news personalities they see every day on TV than when the president comes on and gives a speech, or the governor comes on and gives a speech. We're pretty disconnected from those people. But, people like Shauna Lake and everybody else that comes on,
how many people
tell
say,
us what
I woke up with you every morning.
Yeah,
you were in my kitchen every morning. I used to get emails of people going, you helped me through one of the hardest times in my life.
Isn't that
I
amazing?
Turned on the TV and you made me smile and you made me feel like everything was going to be okay. Road tripping.
That was fun.
And it was amazing. Yeah. But I was, and I want to say I never took it for granted, but I think at some point I did. But that I was invited into these people's homes, and they trusted me, and they gave me the opportunity to be in their homes, and that was a blessing. And I hope one day I get to do it again.
Yeah, well, I think you will. I think that you have a talent for that. I've known plenty of people that said, "Oh, you're doing a podcast with Casey." We used to have him on our carpool ride in with all the kids in the morning, and stuff like that. So, I mean, people love having you around and in their homes. And so for Shauna, I would say, like you said, we were talking before we recorded today, it doesn't matter whether she comes on the show or not. We just want, because this is what we're doing now. We've done this for a year, and how many different types of professional people have we interviewed on the show? It just runs the whole gamut, from physicians to media people to psychologists to CEOs, everybody in between. And so we know that recovery is possible. It's a tough road to hoe, and sometimes, like we've seen with some of our guests, there's some setbacks. But we just want Shauna to know that we're thinking of her. And since we've been in this every single week all year long, talking to people, we wish her the best. And if we don't know if she's feeling positive or negative, but we'll feel positive for her and optimistic that there's solutions. And again, we don't really know what the issue is. We don't know what the problem is. Something could have been misreported. We don't know.
I think think John Lennon and the Beatles said it best. All we need is love.
Yeah.
You know, and I know it sounds corny, but I think that's what Shauna needs. I think that's what we all need right now, is we don't need people scaring us and making us fearful for tomorrow. I think we need to show compassion, humanity, and love. I mean, I really think this is a time that this could be an amazing opportunity for all of us to once again get to know our neighbors, get to know ourselves, and get to know our kids, and utilize this time to benefit us. I really think it's possible.
Oh, it is possible. Anytime a crisis or an unexpected event happens, once you dust yourself off a little, the best thing you can do is say, what positive is going to come from this? What level of growth? I mean, they're already talking about the fact that, hey, we're being forced to use technology for education and employment in ways that we never thought we would. Mm-hmm. I spent my morning doing therapy on the phone today, and that's not a regular thing to do. And we're going to learn how to use technology better to benefit our society going forward. So, I mean, that's a small benefit, but it could end up having wide-reaching effects on our culture worldwide. Another thing to think about is connecting with other people. I keep seeing stories on Facebook about neighbors doing things like baking bread and dropping it off on other neighbors' doorsteps. You know, my neighbors haven't done that for me yet, but you know, it's out there. People are doing these good things of charity. In fact, this brings to mind, I was at a grocery store last weekend, and they had blocked off both ends of the aisle, the toilet paper aisle and tissue paper aisle. And they had employees inside at both ends handing out what you could take. And a fellow in front of me asked for toilet paper, and the guy brought him 2 of the packages. And he said, I only need 1. And that's what he took, and he left. And I thought, you know what? That is what we need more of, is because he's thinking of other people instead of just for himself. He knew what he needed, and that's what he took, even though he was being offered more of kind of the gold commodity right now. Yeah. He could have walked out in the parking lot and sold it for triple if he wanted to be that guy, but he didn't. And I just thought, man, that's really cool.
That is cool. And you think about the stocks on bidets, they're going up.
Yeah, I'm thinking of getting one. I have a friend who's a plumber, and I've kind of teased him about his having a bidet, and now he's like, hey, who wants to be me? Everybody. Yeah, who wants a tushy wash? I may actually have him come put one in.
Yeah, because I don't want to go toilet to shower every time.
Right, exactly.
You know, that's not going to be fun. And look at all the babies that are going to be born in 9 months.
Right? Well, not around my house. But yeah, I mean, yeah.
Marvin Gaye's playing in homes right now.
Let's
get it on.
Afternoon Delight.
Hey, you're listening to Project Recovery, a podcast about addiction. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back with 2 weeks of fun that I just got done with.
A gun in the face.
Then all of a sudden they all kind of lined up. They pointed their guns at me. And this is the point where I thought, I'm going to die today.
Started 2 years of horror for an American in Venezuela.
They said, you need to give us your phone and get ready because you're coming with us.
I'm Becky Bruce, and I spent a year researching and piecing together Josh and Tammy Holt's story about their ordeal in a notorious prison.
That's when everything started to turn bad. We had another pound on the door. Boom, boom, boom. And there was the police once again.
You can binge all of the episodes of Hope in Darkness on kslpodcasts.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
All right, Dr. Matt, it's the bonus episode. We're talking about 2 weeks of fun that I just had. And I use fun loosely. I'm actually using the air quotations right here.
Air quotes, yeah.
So let's go back 2 weeks.
Okay.
2 weeks ago, I got fired from Pinnacle.
Yes, you did.
And I guess fired's not the...
It's probably more like let go, right?
Yeah, let go. They just said, hey, we're going in a new direction.
Went a different direction.
Yeah, and I could see it kind of coming. Yeah. I didn't expect it this soon, but I'm okay with it, you know. And I thought, it's okay. I'm okay. I'm resourceful. I've come this far.
Yeah, I didn't catch a negative vibe off you at all when we were talking about it.
I was kind of excited because...
It's pure Casey.
I was excited. I was like, now I can figure out where else I want to go, what I want to do. I'm going to use this time for self-evaluation. And so I was like, okay, so I put out a thing on Facebook. Hey, I'm looking for my next new adventure. And I got a lot of people reaching out to me going, well, what about this? Maybe you could do this. And so then I got reached out by a company, and they said, hey, we got an opportunity for you. So I went and met with them, and it seemed pretty cool. And I felt good about it, and we were talking, and we were negotiating. I said, well, I'm going to take some time to think about it. I'm going on a cruise on Sunday, and when I get back, we'll talk. And they were like, cool, thumbs up. Right before I got on the plane, an email going, hey, we're really excited about this opportunity. Can't wait to talk to you more. Cool.
Oh, very positive.
So I'm going on a cruise. I got a job maybe when I get back. Everything seems to be turning up Casey. I love it when everything comes up Casey.
Right.
I'm feeling good about it. And right before we get on the cruise, the coronavirus starts to really become a hot topic in the news.
Know.
And everyone's like, you're going on a cruise? And I go, yeah.
I said that to you.
Yeah, I said, I'm going on the cruise. I don't have a job right now. It's already been paid for. They're not giving us our money back. They have not told us not to go.
Right.
You know, to be honest with you, I didn't think it was going to turn into this.
Well, I don't think anybody, well, the average person, myself, you, we didn't really think it would quite reach to this level. But here it is.
And so I was like, all right, we're going to go. Yeah. And mind you, I wasn't really sure about this cruise anyways, because I didn't know if they were going to let us go. So it was easier for me just to let them make the decision. I don't like making decisions. My girlfriend will tell you that. So I'm getting ready to go on the cruise. Yeah. And before I go on the cruise, my mom is calling me every half hour. Now, mind you, my mom didn't call me this much when I was in recovery. She's like, are you sure you're going to go? And I go, yeah, I think I'm going to go, Mom. And she goes, I don't know if it's a good idea. You might get stuck over there. I go, well, I don't have a job, so if I'm going to get stuck, I want to get stuck in, Jamaica. That sounds like pretty good to me. Yeah. Feeling a little irie, you know what I mean? Right. Just sit on the beach, waves crashing on my legs.
I can think of worse things.
Yeah. And so we're all going, and we're going with a group of 14.
Oh, there's 14
There's 14
party?
of us.
Wow.
It's Lordy, this biatch is turning 40. There was 3 of them turning 40.
Okay.
And so, there was a bunch of group kids. They didn't know that I'm 46, but I didn't tell them because I was...
What did they don't know? They don't need to know.
And so we're going on this cruise. And so the whole time everyone's like, are we going? Yeah, we're going. I think we're going. And so I go, well, the first test is going to be if we get on the airplane. Yeah. So we show up to the airport. We get on the airplane. No big deal.
Yep.
Everyone's like, all right, first test passed. Boom. We get there. We get off the airplane in Florida. Mm-hmm. This guy goes, are you guys going on a cruise? And we go, yep. And they go, are you on the Princess? And they go, no. Well, they just canceled ours. So these guys flew all the way to Florida to find out from Utah that their cruise had been canceled. So they had either had to stay in Florida or turn back around and fly back. We didn't stick around to find out what they were going to do.
Right.
So I was like, ugh. They canceled that cruise that's going out of the same port as we are. Maybe this is not a good thing.
Right.
Okay. So we get in the taxi and we go to the cruise ship. Get ready to go on the cruise ship. Yeah. I'm thinking, test number 2.
Yeah, somebody's going to stop you.
Are they going to let us get on? We checked in our bags. We walk in. They take a thermometer. Is that right?
Thermometer, yeah, sure. I mean, I think
so. And they test our temperature. Everybody walks by.
Swipe your forehead?
Swipe our foreheads.
Yep.
Everybody gets on. I go, well, if everybody gets on, I think we're going to be okay. Sure enough, we get on the cruise ship. Goes out to sea. I'm thinking, holy cow, we're going on this cruise. And so then I'm talking to my girlfriend the whole time. I go, I don't know what's going to happen. Let's go out there. Let's be careful. But every room you went into, they made you wash your hands. They had sanitizer. They had people that were sanitizer. Anytime you went in and out of a major room, they sanitized your hands.
Wow, that's good.
And that ship was clean. Mm-hmm. Cleaner than Hell Week at a fraternity. I mean, everything was clean. Yeah. And, I mean, they were washing the railings, washing the doors, everything.
Okay.
And so we just kind of cruised, did what we did for 2 days. And so I thought...
Did you feel uneasy about interacting with other people? Because, on a cruise, sometimes you get to know people that you didn't know before.
We were a group of 14, so we really didn't interact with other people that much. I mean, there was people that we'd see at dinner every night that we'd talk to. There's this big guy, meathead guy with arms and never bought a sleeve in his life. We called him Doug. We didn't know what his real name was, but every time he walked in, we'd go, Doug! It became an inside joke, and it was pretty funny. Yeah. But other than that, no. I mean, they still had the concerts, the comedy clubs, the dance clubs, and all that. And we did all that stuff. And so I told my girlfriend again, this is me being Nostradamus, going, after 2 days, if somebody starts to get sick, I think we're going to be quarantined.
Yeah.
After 2 days, no quarantine.
Oh, wow.
So then,
did you hear about anybody getting sick?
Didn't hear about anybody getting
ship?
sick. Didn't see anybody walking around coughing.
Yeah.
Didn't hear anything. And normally that becomes a small community. There's 5,300 people on there, passengers.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And it's word will get around if somebody was quarantined.
Yeah.
Somebody would be like, "Hey, did you hear what's this guy? This guy in my room, he's quarantined.
Don't go to level 3."
Yeah, and then none of that.
Yeah.
And so Friday comes along, and we're getting ready to go back. And
so this was a 7-day?
7-day cruise. And so about Wednesdays when it all started getting mad here in the States.
Home, yeah.
And I didn't have cell service because I didn't have a job and I couldn't pay the $80 to be connected to the cell service.
Well, I noticed that. I kept texting you stuff.
Yeah, no, I didn't answer.
I know.
Yeah, because I didn't have the cell service.
I thought you were quarantined.
And I'll tell you what, that's a whole other episode because that felt awesome. My social engagement went down 83% on my phone.
Isn't that the best?
And I did not miss it one bit.
No, in fact, I find that rejuvenating. That's
and that
fantastic.
was a vacation in itself, just being away from my phone for that long.
Right.
But we started getting, because other people had cell service, we started getting other intel from the States. Toilet papers run out. People are making Walmart orders for their family at home to go pick up to make sure when they come home there's going to be stuff, and just trying to figure it all out. And there was a lot of concern from family members back home wondering if we were going to make it back.
Yeah, I'm sure.
My kids, my ex-wife called and said that my kids asked 6 times a day, "Is Dad got the corona? Is Dad going to get home? Where's Dad?" And that's not like my kids.
Right.
And so that kind of felt good, but it also worried me because they're worried about me.
You were out of town when it all of a sudden really got serious.
Yeah. And so Friday comes along, and the real world's starting to creep back into our mindset. Like, Sunday we're going to go back, and where are we going back to? We don't know. Is it Mad Max? Are people going to be in leather? Is everyone going to have mohawks? I mean, I don't know what's going on.
Right? That would have been cool.
Yeah, I thought. Yeah. But so we get there, and once again, me telling my girlfriend, I go, I feel like there's going to be another shoe drop. I don't think if they were going to quarantine us, they'd do it on a Wednesday because I think there'd be an upright, something crazy.
Right.
I said, they're going to wait until we get there Sunday, and then the captain's going to come on, doot. This is your captain speaking. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to dock today, but
right.
All of a sudden, he goes, doot. We're here. Unboarding can start in 10 minutes.
Wow.
I was like, what? So we grabbed our bags. We kept our bags because normally you can have them check your bags the night before, and they'll end up on the dock with you. But we're like, well, what happens if we want our bags with us? So we just grabbed our bags, walked right out.
Wow.
Got on the airplane, came home.
No sweat, huh?
Yep, came back into a whole new world. Flew in, and once again, the streets are dead. The supermarkets are packed. Now my phone's going off the hook because everyone wants to know, hey, how are you doing? What's going on? Mm-hmm. But
do you want me to burst your bubble?
Yeah.
So that's awesome. I can imagine that was stressful and kind of not a normal, relaxing cruise like we would normally expect to have. But the problem is, even though they were swiping temperatures before everybody got on the boat, the problem is that people can be asymptomatic for a couple of weeks, right? At least. It may actually be longer. Now they're saying it may be longer.
You're not the first person to tell me this. That's why we're 6 feet away.
And so, right. So the problem is there may have been the coronavirus on that ship. And
chances are it probably was.
And it may have been spread to other people. Probably the intense cleanliness measures that they were taking helped some people not get it. Mm-hmm. And so if somebody had been exposed and you're only on the boat for 7 days, you could get on it and get off it and never have any symptoms and spread it to other people. So
I get it.
But now you've been home. How long have you been back?
6 days.
6 days. So you're kind of, if you had been exposed on the ship, you still have another week to 10 days before we would know if you have it, probably.
Yeah. Once again, I didn't know going out that this was going to turn into this.
Nobody did. Some people predicted it, but those of us that were just getting up, going to work, doing our everyday stuff, and it progressed. When you were out of town, it was the weirdest experience. It was like not just every day, but every hour, new information, credible mostly. I would get updates through the University of Utah healthcare system. Like in between patients, I'd see a patient for an hour, and then I'd have 4 or 5 new emails from different departments talking about different things, and so things changed rapidly from the time you left to the time you got back.
And so I've been quarantined. I stay at my house.
Self-quarantine.
Yeah. I don't going anywhere that I don't need to be going. But when I called you and I said, hey, you want to do this? We'll stay 6 feet away.
Right.
Let's see what happens.
Did you finish The Outsider yet?
I finished The Outsider.
Oh, I'm listening to the book right now.
Is it
I'm
bonkers?
going to watch it.
It's bonkers, huh?
Oh, it's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a good one. Yeah.
I hope there's a second season.
Oh, yeah. Well, it'll be interesting to. Then I'm going to watch the season that's out.
If you don't know what he's talking about, it's The Outsider
ends.
by Stephen King on HBO.
Very cool. Very cool.
I've been watching a lot of TV lately.
Yeah.
So then I get home on Monday to find out we've all been quarantined. We're all homeschooling everybody, and that's our new norm. And are going to the school to pick up laptops and computers and all that stuff so they can do online schooling.
So you can sell money. Do online school.
Yeah. But I think you got to turn them back.
Oh, okay.
I hope.
Yeah.
And then to wake up Tuesday morning, jumping out of the bed like a ninja, as my daughter said, Frankie, she goes, Dad, you were so cool. You got up, you kind of assessed the room, and then you went underneath the door frame. And I go, I was cool? And she goes, yeah, but you forgot me and Bowden in the bed. So then that was crazy.
Yeah.
And
I was walking across my bedroom to go let my dogs out at 7. And kind of felt like I was on a wave. I felt the floor kind of ripple, and I have double doors to my room, and they shook really hard. And first I thought it was wind, because up in Bountiful we get some
where
pretty
the rich
good wind
doctors
sometimes.
live.
Well, I'm not in their neighborhood, but and it was pretty intense. It was pretty intense.
Yeah.
Did your dog do?
No,
anything?
Steve.
Yeah.
No, Steve doesn't do anything. Steve's my English bulldog. Steve's an idiot.
He didn't bark or anything.
No, he didn't bark. No, I don't even think he woke up. As a matter of fact, my renter's downstairs. I had to call him at noon and go, hey, are you guys okay? I've sent you a bunch of texts. He goes, why? And I go, we had an earthquake. And he goes, I slept right through it.
Really?
I was like,
it was a pretty good earthquake.
How did you sleep right through that?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And what's he doing to sleep at noon?
Oh, I think he works nights.
Okay, we'll give it that too.
And then today, before I came into the podcast, guess what I did?
I know what you did.
I filed for unemployment.
I was talking to you while you were in line.
That's a half-hour process.
Is it only a half hour?
That's only a half hour,
oh,
yeah.
Wow. Okay.
But I think
government stuff always seems like it's going to take forever to me.
No, it's pretty slick.
Yeah.
And they've got jobs on there, and so now I'm on a board.
Well, they're encouraging people to do that.
Well, you're going to have to. I think as bad as the coronavirus or the COVID-19 is going to be, the economic impact is going to be worse.
Way worse, probably. I mean, if your grandparent dies, then I guess that you might feel differently, of course. But for most people, it's the economic impact on the actual job you have, whether you get to keep it or not.
How do you make your rent? How do you make your bills?
Bills, retirement savings, all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
It's bonkers.
Follow us up on this cool job that you were going to get, and now it sounds like maybe.
Well, I think it's still out there.
Okay.
But I think, as everybody knows, everything's on hold.
Yeah.
I don't think.
So they just said, we're going to
we're just
put
waiting.
a hold on hiring.
It's probably not best to hire you while we're in a quarantine where you can't go out and actually do your job. It's a marketing job.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's, So
it could happen still.
It could happen.
Okay.
But I can't. I still need money, so I had to file for unemployment. And I have still been looking for jobs, but once again, not a lot of people are. When you call somebody, go, hey, I'm calling about the job. Well, we're kind of in the mid of the coronavirus and just had an earthquake. Can I call you back?
In 2 months?
Yeah, we got a little more pressing issues going on right now.
I'm grateful. I have a private practice, but I also work for the University of Utah full time, and I'm grateful to them. They have really done a great job looking out for employees.
And a lot of businesses have.
And a lot of businesses have, trying to be flexible and find ways that we can keep working. So.
All right, well, there's our first half of the podcast, and we kind of talked about Shauna Lake and My Crazy 2 Weeks and what's going on with that. Stick around. We're going to talk about how you can talk to your kids about the coronavirus and the earthquake that just happened with a child psychologist. That would be Dr. Matt. You're listening to Project Recovery, a podcast about addiction, more importantly, about recovery. If you know somebody who needs some help, have them do what I did. Give Pinnacle Recovery Center a call.
The contents of this program are for informational purposes only. The program is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician, licensed therapist, or other qualified health provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition. Never disregard professional medical advice or delay in seeking it because of something you've heard on this program. KSL does not recommend or endorse any specific tests, physicians, products, procedures, opinions, or other information that may be mentioned on the program. Reliance on any information provided on the program is solely at your own risk.